We all love India. But if I'm honest, and I think you all will agree with me, there are certain things which we don't love and which quietly breaks our heart. For some, it could be infrastructure, the broken roads, the open potholes. For some, it could be healthcare, too expensive nowadays to afford. For some, it could be corruption all across. These are complex problems, and these have many causes. But there is one thread which runs across all of them, but unfortunately doesn't make to the policy discussions. I'm talking about education. With education, I don't mean literacy. We have pretty good people who are literate, but still if we see on the roads, we see people throwing their trashes out of their cars' windows. We see people coming on the wrong side of the lane. So we have the literacy, they're all literate, but they're not educated. With education, I mean the philosophy of education, the concept, the overall system. For decades, India has been phenomenally doing well in producing millions of engineers, doctors, lawyers. But here is what it doesn't produce in proportion. We don't have Nobel laureates. We don't have path-through innovators. We don't have world-changing researchers. Why? We have numbers, geographical dividend. We all have intelligence. What is missing? Okay, let me ask each of you a question, heart-to-heart question, all of you sitting here. How many of you love your profession? When I say love, it means the love that you have with your baby, where you don't have any time limits, where you don't crave, you parent 24/7. That kind of love, how many have you have for your own profession? Raise your hands. So I see here, the results are approximately 30%. What about 70%? They're not failing. They are doing something or the other things in their life. They're earning. They're going to their offices. They're attending meetings. They're paying their EMIs. But they are not thriving. And a nation that runs on people who are merely present cannot become a nation that leads. And this is the idea I want you to take back home. It's called career misalignment. Career misalignment is when a person's work is fundamentally disconnected from their natural strengths and interest. The emphasis here is natural strengths and interest, not the acquired strengths and interest. And this is the most significant, most invisible, yet most preventable challenge that is quietly holding India back. Career misalignment. I'll tell you a short story, a real story. 2 weeks back, I was into an interview panel of a technology company. We are trying to hire students from a private college, CSE students, computer science engineering students, specialization in AI and ML. We received 76 CVs, out of which only 16 could make it to round 1. Other were not even cleared, their CVs were not even aligned with what the technology company was expecting. So, the numbers are one problem. What stayed back with us as interviewers after the completion of the interview was even not numbers. It was what the candidates told us. Student by student, they said, "Sir, computer science was never what we wanted." They were passionate about creative thinking, art, digital marketing, influencer marketing, music. But they ended up there because their parents and teachers guided them that way. And it's a painful truth. The people who guide them are the people who love them deeply, but they are not aware of more than 10 careers themselves. I'm not criticizing them. It's a system failure. What we are producing is, we are forcing those people to work entire their life in the domains where their minds are not naturally aligned. So, they work in those companies. First, they don't get a job. If they get a job, they work, their output suffers in quality. We don't get quality output. Why? Not because they lack intelligence, but because they're not naturally aligned with that profession. Now, multiply all these professionals in millions, and it becomes a quiet but significant drag on national productivity. The root cause is not laziness. It's not lack of ambition of those professionals. It's a career chosen by default. The worst possible time and with almost no guidance. The solution: we have countries where the frameworks exist, and in India we are not even aware of it. These are psychometric analysis, psychometric tests. These psychometric tests, if done properly and administered properly, they can tell lot much things about any person's identity, areas of interest. When I did it on myself first, I didn't sleep the whole night. I was so happy to find my real passion. There are models in the, and the countries have developed their systems around it. You might have heard about Japan's Ikigai. We have a book on that. What it essentially has is, there are 4 different circles, and the intersection of all those 4 circles is your personalized career area. First circle is what you like as a person, which is inherent potential, which can be found by a psychometric test. The second is what you are good at, your competencies in that particular profession. The third is what world needs. This requires system. And the fourth one is what sustains you, what gives you money. So all of these 4 circles, if you see the intersection of that, that is the personalized area where every person should focus on. These are not new ideas. These frameworks exist for decades. So why India don't use them? First, because people are not aware of it. And who are aware are the people, only few in the metro cities who are affluent, because these are expensive. It costs anywhere between 5,000 and 25,000 for getting a good counseling for one person, one student. And this clearly means that it's for the metro city family who can easily afford to write that check. But India has got tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 cities where we have majority of people living there. They can't afford that because they are not by choice but by economics. They can't afford it. It's very expensive. Second, we don't have system like other countries have. So, 3 things for us to do. First, understand the child at an early age. The age, what is the right age? The right age could be around when the child is in 8th grade. And how do you do that? Psychometric test, Ikigai models. There are various psychometric tests. You can research on that and you will get to know. But it will tell you your natural traits. Second, system. This is more for policy decision makers, but the third point which I am going to tell you after this will be more revealing. So let's come to the second point again. It's building the ecosystem. Not only a system, an ecosystem. So the first thing which we are doing right now, which is affluent families can do, is only a guidance part, but that's also broken because we don't have any system to take it forward. A person who is having a career pathway in music or in art, we don't have an ecosystem to further nourish that. So I'll give you small examples of some countries like Germany. What they do, they identify the children at the age of 10. And if they find that child is good in vocational areas, then what do the system do? The system have the industries coming to the school level to collaborate. Here in India, we don't even have industries coming to the colleges. Right? So if you identify the potential early age, and that you have to do it, I'll tell you why. So industry partnership at the school level, right? That's what Germany do. They identify, then they train, industry train them. School doesn't train, industry comes and train them, they pay them, and then they hire them. That's the structured pathway which they have created. Second example, South Korea. During my consulting assignment with one family, we tried to find out a passion of a student. The passion was in guitar. She wants to, and she plays very good guitar. The mother said to me that the interest can be a hobby, the passion can be a hobby, but profession has to be sustainable, which indicates us that a student having a passion of guitar cannot earn a living because we don't have a system, right? The whole country, South Korea nowadays, the people who watches the South Korea music, the South Korea's, there are so many movies on South Korea. The country has developed on the art itself. That's the fastest growing economy, right? And so the third one is the most exciting one. That's technology. So with technology as a support and enabler, nowadays we are sitting on an era which is revolutionizing, which is transformative. We have artificial intelligence in which we can, though India has never been a creator in this space, but we are early adopters. We have that hunger. We don't have a system because that's why we don't have innovations going on, but still the masses have the hunger, so we are early adopters. So if we adopt the technology, that technology itself can create the point number one, psychometric analysis. The point number two, the ecosystems. We can create ecosystems with AIs nowadays. So what's holding us back? We have people, geographical dividend. We have science, psychometric analysis, and other models. We have technology also to support this. And for the history of mankind, the other thing that we have is we have no excuse. We don't have any excuse now. Thank you.